So I just woke up from what felt, obviously, as most things do in the moment, one of the most realistic, fantastical house tours I've ever walked through. It is, by the own dreams admission, a $45 million home. And there's parts of it that are video game-esque, that I can't explain, but a lot of it was so real. Now, I was definitely myself in the dream, and I was touring this home, and I felt the fatigue I felt in real life right now going to, why I was taking a nap in the first place. But this home was absolutely incredible. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did tour a $25 million home and a $10 million home, and I have videos that are coming out with that. But this home was something else. There's something just different about it. There were a lot of things that matched it. So I have this board behind me, and it's raining right now. And for all intents and purposes, this house was on the side of a mountain. That this right behind me was the mountain. The home was something like this on the side of the mountain. And in the dream, it's very limited as to the context. I don't know how I got there. The dream, that from what I remember, it started and this was going on. The context I can give is that I was doing a house tour, because it wasn't my house in the tour. I was with someone and we were going through the house. So let's say, for all intents and purposes, there's an entrance over here on the side. And right after, there's this big rock or something obscuring over here, and you walk in from the side here, and then there's this patio here, right? And there's this drop. So this is kind of a patio overlooking whatever's over here, which I don't remember seeing. I don't remember seeing where this was, where this could even exist. But, for the sake of the dream and maybe a movie, if you're a movie set decorator, this may be for you. So we walked in, and then somewhere along here, there's this platform. There's this platform, right? This will be the platform. And, let's call this maybe like a glass fence right here, a glass balcony. And when you would come and stand on the platform, it would then move in this way that it wouldn't go straight up and down, and it wouldn't go straight side to side. It went in this diagonal, like a platform does in a video game, where this is the video game part of it, where it kind of floats across and it makes its way down here. So the platform started here and made its way down here, which is then where the main entrance is. So I guess the property would then, go on through here. And in this whole room, you could have, it could be like a cave-like place. Maybe there's some kind of pond or jacuzzi. And it's pouring down rain outside right now. So, and we're going to get back to this platform. So we get on the platform, it goes down here, and then you're able to enter the home. The entrance may even be, it would actually make more sense, let's say if we, can I erase? So, if it came down here, I mean, it would make more sense for it to come down, but it was more magical that it kind of floated across the land here. But let's say it either went straight down there, and then, right down here, there was then the big entrance. This was essentially you were coming up to the roof of the property, and then you would go down this elevator or platform, and then you'd be able to enter the property right here. Now, the floor plan of this property was such, so if, we take just this long rectangle shape. So now that was the top floor. So the top floor, if we divide it in two, very simple. So if I try to simplify this, there's this top balcony, roof balcony, and then there's our little elevator platform here. And then there's this little entrance here. And then here, just imagine the most idyllic cave that you could ever, some shit like this, right? But obviously not on the water. But, these kinds of colors. We're looking at red sandstone. So it's somewhere like in the desert where there would be these desert mountains, right? Idyllic cave, the red sandstone, red sandstone, right? So somewhere in the cut of one of these stones is where a property like this would exist. So this was a little cut of part of it, and then it's like a little oasis, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. And it was very idyllic. And then you can, so you go down the platform. Now, in the dream, I definitely went in this platform, moved across in a way that doesn't make physical sense. I mean, it could happen somehow, maybe it's suspended from above or there's an arm out from below, but it would not be practical in any way. But nothing about this house is practical. So let's just say, it goes over there, it floats over here, right? And then there's this walkway here because this part of the area was not accessible for intents and purposes. And then you get off and you went here, and then here's where the entrance would be, right? How do you do a new board on this stupid thing? Create a new board. All right. So then once you're inside, there's a few. They like ruin this thing. There was a few key rooms on the base main floor, which is probably the best one that I can describe. The layout of it was as follows. So there's a room right here, and we're going to get to that room. There's a hallway right there. There's a room right here. And this actually extends. So if you're looking through there, you'd be able to see. Right, so there's this hallway here that leads in. And then, there's this whole part. So the parts of the property which I saw. So let's get rid of this. So there's a wall there, but that would be open. There was then this main wall here, and this here, and then there's a room right there, and then there wasn't a wall here. So those were the main principal walls. Now the flooring was such that this was an elevated room, right? And then there was a depressed room right here and a slightly elevated room here. And then another elevated room here. So this hallway was kind of on one level. And when I say elevated, maybe like one or two steps. One little step to get up in there. A little step to get up in there. A little step down to get into this little room here. And then a step up to get into this area here. So we came from somehow from this top level to this lower level, and we walked through, and we ended up, in this room here. Now, here's a very interesting point in this property, because when you look straight up, you could see up what felt like 4 floors of space. So it was you could see the cavernous of it. In this room, it was limited to a normal space, and I can describe the colors. I can describe it it was very beige. It was beige desert mansion. Let's see. I can tell you exactly. Beige desert mansion. So colors like this, definitely. Not as much light. It almost felt like there was no windows. Like it was very strange. There's no, obviously it's his dream. So, something like this, it was definitely a desert mansion of some kind. Like something like this looks very similar to it. Something like this looks very similar to it. But obviously not, because this was a dream that my brain was just making up. And that was it. This little shack in the middle of the desert. Lord. So, why am I making this video? I almost want to document this dream because it felt so real. And, I have to do it right now before I forget it. So, beige desert mansion. So, there are some things, I doubt I'll ever see anything like this in real life, but it's not too far off. But the coolest things about it, and we're going to get to that in a second. So the layout was this. Over here was the dining room. I don't remember too much about the dining room, but there was, the dining room table, as elegant as you want to imagine here, a dining room table. And it is pouring down rain outside. It is ridiculous. And then there's, this kind of half wall here. I would say a full wall, but what's over here is the kitchen. So it could be a bar. It could have been like a half island right here, and then a wall, and then, the kitchen. We never went into the kitchen. Me and my dream companions never went into the kitchen. So that's all over there. So I don't know. But what I did see, what was in this room. And I guess there was actually a wall here. So there was there was a big wall here. Somewhere here, there's a wall separating these two rooms. Maybe there's a wall here, and it goes into a hallway into another unknown space here, right? So that makes more sense. Right, so, and on this wall, there was a TV, nice big TV, and either below it or around it, there was this big box, and this is where we get into the interesting part. So if we go in and we look into here, this room here was painted in black. And there was like nice leather chairs. It almost felt like where you place the betting room in Las Vegas casino. It almost looked like something like this. Where the black ceilings, big screens along the wall, and, plenty of chairs to go look up. So there's this big betting room. So that's what we're going to describe. This was the betting room. And over here, we were back in the beige. And there was a nice big elegant couch. There was like rows of couches and, let's say, tables. And then there was like this control table right here. And whoever was the owner of the house. Now, here's where like the scene comes in. So I'm standing here, and the person who owns the house is sitting here and showing us how this all works. And what he showed was that it was almost like a game of solitaire, but it was like an automatic game of solitaire with real life cards. So it's like if you had a game of solitaire, but instead of it, like, is there still solitaire on? Oh, okay, there's still solitaire. Microsoft Solitaire Collection. So if you had solitaire, oh look how far solitaire's come. Star Club. I'm not in the Star Club. Klondike Classic. What is all this shit? What is all this shit? So it's like if this whole action could be done. Oh, look at that. Could be done with real cards mechanically. So on this thing right here, and then what would happen is, let's say in this big box over here, whatever movements you did with the cards on the control board would then get shuffled around in the big box. And that's kind of a hard thing to see. So it would almost be simplified that it would show it on the big TV. So it's almost like you had a real, and I mean, it could be blackjack, it could be any card game, but there was a translation of the card game that was happening at this control table here, and then what was being displayed on the TV. So it almost felt like this whole room, and then over up here there is another mystery area, because right around here is where I woke up. But so there's this big betting room here, and maybe there's a big circle of chairs right here. So if I get rid of this, So if there's a big circle of chairs over here, and then this big array of screens over here, and it's the floors were painted black. You know, it's like this black room. And then so a very dark room and a very bright room. And in the very bright room, people were watching the card game, and here people were bet. So it was almost like a mini casino inside this beautiful desert mansion. Desert mansion with blackjack room. I love these little... What is this? Vector cartoons? Fascinating. Yeah, there's no mansion with blackjack room. Mansion with card. That's kind of, but not really. I mean, it was so bizarre, and there was so many things that were bizarre about it. So you could almost say it was something like this. And how do I know that the property was $45 million? So while standing here, and he's showing me all of this, what's presumably this guy's wife walks out, and at some point during this interaction, we ask, well, how much is this property? And she has this, like, she's wearing this purple dress. Tall white woman in purple dress. She almost looked like not like this. Sharon Stone purple dress Casino. Was Sharon Stone ever in a purple dress in Casino? Yeah, something like this. Maybe that's where I'm seeing it. So it was Sharon Stone from Casino almost in like this kind of scene. Maybe that's where my brain was pulling this, because I definitely have watched Casino a bunch of times. So she's wearing something like this, and it wasn't exactly like that, but that's close enough. You know, maybe it was more like this, something like that. And she walks by, and we ask, well, how much is this property? And she comes out of whatever the fucking room is over there, and she's like, it's $45,399,999. And she walks there, and then she goes into the kitchen. And then over here, there's like this low coffee table. You know, this is like a normal living room here. We have the card room, and I mean, I guess the card room would make more sense with like these card tables. So, you know, instead of it being like that. So there's a bedding room. There was a card table room. You know, let's say there's these couple of card tables, right? And then up on the screen is where, you know, you could show the information about the game. And then there's this control table here to control what was going on. And then there's this betting room over here. So she walks out, and she's like, it's $45 million. She goes into the kitchen, passing by, you know, like a butler and a kid. And they're doing, you know, there's like colorful toys and shit that's around here. You know, there's like some big epic fireplace that's here. You know, that's epic desert mansion fireplace. Sure, something like this. It was like mansion corner fireplace. Does anyone put fireplaces in the corner? It might as well be some shit like that. Right? So, a very amazing property. She says $45 million. She walks in there. I see this kid that's playing there. And then looking up, you see the kind of epicness of the property and the height of the property. And, you know, seeing this, and what was so amazing is, like, you know, standing right here, I'm looking right at the playing cards, and the playing cards are just the finest playing cards. You know, they have like the raised ink on them, and just incredibly gorgeous. And we were going through this property, and at some point I forget something, and I run back into the previous room where, you know, this is where it's in the side of the mountain here. And I asked somebody, like a maintenance guy, I'm like, how does this elevator work? And he's like, oh, it's such and such company that makes this elevator. So it was funny that I was trying to dissect. It was nearly a lucid dream, because I was trying to dissect, how does this work? How much does this place cost? How does this floating elevator thing even work? Look at the playing cards. Look at this mechanical machine that's doing. Have you ever seen that video? How it's on Baccarat. Chinese domino table works. There's this meme video. There we go. A mahjong video. This thing. So it was nearly a mechanism like this. This is kind of the card mechanism. This thing's... So it's a table like this, but for cards. And, you know, for something like solitaire, where everything needs to get shuffled and then put in this very specific order. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. It is seriously raining. It is like a serious fucking storm outside. So it was this kind of mechanism, but for cards. So you would just be able to, you know, it would automatically reshuffle the cards. All the shit would go on underneath the table. and then you'd get the card. So this is why it would then show, you know, it up on the screen, because it'd be doing all the shuffling and shit. And obviously, you know, in a $45 million place, you're not playing Microsoft Solitaire, you're playing real life Solitaire. Or blackjack. I don't know why it'd be solitaire. It's by definition a solitary game. So this was my $45 million mansion dream, and it felt very real. It was very bizarre, and the characters that I met, I can't really explain how and that's funny that she did wear this purple thing in Casino. That's definitely where I got it from. And it's out in the middle of the fucking desert. So it was like the 2021 version of Casino in this crazy mansion. So I mainly made this video for myself so I could look back at it, you know, once I completely forget about this. And I mean, I don't know what it means. It doesn't mean anything. What it means is that the brain is an incredible simulator of reality, because I've never been in a place like this. I've seen images that, you know, mishmashed together could create a place like this, but it was absolutely incredible. I mean, the brain is such an enigma. That's all I can say. It's an enigma. It built this whole world unprovoked, unannounced, in an incredibly short amount of time, and it validates some of the notions that are come up in Inception, namely being that, I mean, that the nap I took may have been 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I did at least a 30 to 45 minute house tour, and I got to know the place and the people, and that's really all I can say about it. So, have you seen a place like this? Have you seen an elevator that's able to travel, you know, like with those video game platforms where it's going down, or it goes across a marked path, and just, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of ways to actually achieve something like that, but it's definitely not practical. I mean, you could have it where, you know, along the edge of this room, there's an arm that comes out. So, you know, if this is this edge of this cave room, and then here's this little platform, that there's an arm that's under it, and it's able to travel this way and extend out to then make it over here. That's how it could physically happen. You know what I mean? So you go step on it, this thing starts moving and extending it, and moving downwards too, or the arm itself is able to move downward. So it's, I don't know, but it was pretty incredible. And I guess the most incredible part about it is that the brain is able to just do that, you know, just by closing your eyes. So maybe that's where I'm destined to move to. So like the video, subscribe, and let's help me get my money up so I can go buy or build this $45 million place out in the middle of the fucking desert. If it exists, I want to buy it. And if it doesn't, I would like to build it. And if you know of a place like this, let me know. Maybe I'll go do a video doing a tour of it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.